Good morning. Good morning. If you're tuning into this live, we're going to be getting going here in about 2 minutes. If you're watching this anytime later, you can scroll forward about 2 minutes to get through this intro. We're just letting people pile in. I am retweeting this. If you're watching this at any point, retweet this. Retweet this live stream because we draw random winners from, we randomly pick a day and randomly pick a winner of those people that are helping show some love to the channel and retweet to your friends and family. Markets are, they're setting up for their reversal that we talked about. I got some incredible charts that we've got to cover here in just a moment. So as I retweet this, let's all of you hit that like button, retweet, do everything you got to do, get involved, participate in, these competitions here. All you got to do is show some love, retweet, hit the like button, and we're going to be getting going here in just a second. So let's.
Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. SEC and its policies rely on whatever Gary thinks. Bitcoin to flight to quality. I heard that from Larry Fink. Every hour losing purchasing power on foolish out there. It's not our fault. Blame the cult. It's the political cowards. When it comes to gas, our purchasing power just got cut in half. I sit back and laugh, open my bag, fill it with stacks and sats. Bitcoin, pumping, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this. Can't tell me nothing.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a flight to quality. We are hearing from clients around the world.
Bitcoin, pumping, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role.
Bitcoin, pumping, altcoin, pumping.
We are hearing from clients around the world.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Crypto, depending on how you think about it. And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a
Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pumping.
We are hearing from clients around the world.
Prepared for this.
Man, I'm ready to dive into these charts, the markets, so we're getting that sign of a reversal brewing. But does that mean we're going up only from here? It does not. We have stand to reason that we need to be a little bit cautious at this moment so we don't get chopped out and ruin potential gains in the future. Percentage points now can be tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in the future. If you're ready to get this going, make sure you're retweeting this on Twitter, and let's go. The camera is not alive, so let's go ahead and make sure this camera is on. Boom, there we go. Signs of the crypto reversal are here. What do we do about it? Is it up only, or do we need to be a little bit cautious? There are some signs and signals in the charts and just the way price action tends to go that we need to pay attention to so we don't get ourselves messed up, losing massive percentage points that could be detrimental to our future profits. We're going to be diving into this. So before we really get going, I want every single one of you to head over to @KellyKellum or @Academy BitLab. Retweet this live stream. You get entered to win some incredible things. We randomly draw a day and a person at the end of each week, but we got some things to talk about. So let's dive right on into it. Cameras are all jacked up this morning, and that's okay. You can still hear me. We're going to go ahead and bring this on. Boom, right there. There we go. But we're seeing the signs. I went live last night, and any of you that did not know that we went live last night, well, you got to pay attention because we had all the signs and signals. I shared it on the Twitter. In addition to sharing it on Twitter, I also just want to make sure you all are subscribed and you also have those notifications turned on, especially on YouTube. But I talked about this last night where we had the price action. We have a higher low here, the start of something fundamentally different in this downtrend where we had lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, higher low. But we always want to look for the higher low followed by a higher high. And on this weekly close, we got that higher high. So it's only up from here, right? No, that's not how this works. We still have to do some work in these charts. We still have to do some work fundamentally, structurally within these charts to really get that upside. And so I'm still watching for a potential pullback into this $61,900, $62,000 region. If we lose that, then we're looking at something maybe a bit lower down here into essentially about 56.4. Could that happen? It absolutely could. It would wreck a lot of people. But for those of you that are following along here in BitLab Academy, you're not going to get wrecked because we're keeping you on the right side of the trend. Now, I'm very bullish on everything happening right now, but I'm still cautiously waiting what this pullback is going to entail. If we get to a little bit smaller time frame here, and we got crypto Danks coming on here in a little bit, but currently we're holding at this trend line right here that has been bounce, 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 bounce. If we lose this, this is when we come down to that 61.9. Potentially even a little bit lower down here to 61,000. But this region is really what I'm watching. Why? Because price action doesn't just go up only. Price action, what we want to see is a price action doing this along the way, right? Higher low, higher low. If this is a higher low, but then also this higher high, higher high. Currently, we've been facing this sort of structure right here with a little bit of a downward price action, which what I mean by that is we've been chopping down like this. Well, what we want to see is this higher low followed by a higher high, breaking past that previous range high. But we're still likely going to get some sort of pullback here, which is what we're looking for right now. So we got the higher high, as we can see right here, but it doesn't mean we're only going to go up from here. If we're able to hold this region, this would be fantastic. It would be ultimately very bullish. But we want to pay attention that if we do get a little bit of a pullback somewhere in this range, that we still get a higher low. Even if we came all the way down here to 55, that would still be a higher low from this range. So we got to be cautious here because this market's going to do everything it can to make you move your assets into somebody else's wallet. So let's be a little cautious here as bullish as things are. I'm going to run through some charts here, and then in a few minutes, about 15 minutes or so, we got crypto Danks coming on, but we got to pay attention to what's going on. We see Bitcoin 63.7, Ethereum 2,600, still BNB 575, Solana 156. We're seeing some wonderful movements on these charts. Bonk, Beam, Dog with Hat. If we actually come over here and look, a second ago, all the winners on here were all meme coins. But if we go to the daily, still look, Bonk with Beam also doing well. Not a meme coin, but in that gaming sector. ENA had that great news that we just saw the other day from BlackRock. But Tau still looking incredible. We've got some things to go over, so let's go through it. Now, first off, I talked about this yesterday in yesterday's video and in the short I put out a little bit ago, and that is this RSI breaking out of this zone, which had this massive launch down here from about $34,000 all the way up to $69,000. Similarly, we see the price action right here at the same point with the price action testing the 50-week moving average. We've tested this twice now, and we're getting the RSI crossover and the stochastic crossover. And shout out to my boy, Alex Green, doing a member for 10 months. You've been a member longer than that, but I think the membership is basically only been alive for 10 months. So that's why he's got that little blue badge next to his name. The longer you're a member, the more that beaker fills up, and so on and so forth. Help us increase who we can reach with the best community. Become a member and join us in the Discord. There's that Discord link right there. And by the way, if you do want to join us with the 120 different lessons from everything from psychology of trading to technical analysis to on-chain data, whole on-chain data course, and so much more, make sure you head over to lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. Remember, that deal is going away once we break past $74,000. And that is 15 days free, basically half a month free, and you get 33% off for life. So get in there while the getting's still good with that great deal we got going on. Now, continuing on, this is looking like the setup for this next impulse to the upside. We also have eclipsed that 160-day mark post-halving. We also see Nicole, basically Tater says, y'all send up big prayers for daddy. Her dad's going into surgery, getting a port put in. So I hope he does well. Big love. Kelly, we love you. Thanks for making us smarter. And thank you all for being here in the community. But again, we are getting those signs and signals that the structural sort of shift from this downward price action is starting to look like the strength is coming in to give us that reversal. Continuing on, we also see the bullish crossover on the MACD on the weekly. And this is just like the end of last summer. We got the bullish crossover and then a rally from about $26,000 all the way up to $73,800. And now we're getting the signals of that MACD trying to make that next crossover. So the next thing we're going to look at here is everybody's talking about this $16 billion getting distributed from FTX. The problem with that is that was a little bit of a farce. We have a big appeal coming up in about 7 or 8 days, suggesting that there may be a little shift here. We got to be a little bit cautious between now and then, which stands to reason. We're pushing up against that resistance level right now at $65,000, $66,000. And so, although we are getting all those signs and signals for bullishness, we got to be a little bit cautious for a little bit of a pullback in this sort of hesitation moment, testing the strength and the resolve of the bulls and the bears before this gets moonshot rocketed up to the upside. Similarly, ETFs getting a large impulse of buying pressure. We can see this. Look, Friday alone, 7,758 Bitcoin purchased, 5,393 the day before that. What is it going to be today? Are we going to continue seeing this? But we're seeing the ETF appetite really breaking out of this tight constriction that it kind of pushed into. So all signs and signals for bullishness show a bit of breakout energy, breakout strength at the moment. So we got to be a little cautious still, but the signs and signals are there. We're also seeing the capital flow starting to show signs that it did bottom. We're going to start seeing a likely strong impulse of money flow into Bitcoin. Now, I got a couple on-chain charts I want to share with you before Danks comes on, and that is, look at this MVRV Z-score. This is a spread of how far the price goes above or below the realized price, the average cost of every Bitcoin on network that's in circulation the last time that it moved. So when, say I've been holding Bitcoin since $1,000, if I sell it to you, then that coin, say it's one whole coin, and I sell it to you today, then the average price of that is now going to be, for that coin, $63,600, whatever the price is at right now. Yeah, $63,700. Now, the more coins move, the more that realized price gets pulled up, that average of every coin on network. And what we're looking at right now, this looks very similar to what we saw in this move back here when we had the move from $3,100 all the way up to about $14,000. Basically, early bull market impulse up, corrective wave down. And of course, we've got a lot of underlying bullishness. So this didn't go down as far. But similarly, look at the level that this is at. Very similar to what we saw here in 2019. Very similar to what we saw here in 2017. The pre-bull parabola move with a small correction before it gets basically just moonshot to the upside. Next thing here, the R hodl, which is basically a ratio of the 1 to 2 year versus 1 week. Basically the mid to long-term holders versus a very short-term holder coins. And this is got a little high, cooling off a bit, similar to right here. Got a little high, cooled off, then had a lot of sort of oscillations. Got overheated, pull back, got overheated, pull back, got overheated. Same thing we're seeing right here, similar to what we saw in this move here. Now, this didn't get nearly as high, but we're seeing a bit of an analog between the 2016, 2017 run and the 2019 run into 2020 absolute moonshot. The point here is we're still very underheated for how far we can still move to the upside. Some people are arguing this was our cycle top. I don't believe it one bit. Similarly, we can also see the reserve risk. And this is reserve risk is a Bitcoin chart that allows us to visualize the confidence among long-term Bitcoin holders relative to the price of Bitcoin at any given moment. And look at this down here. This is still very well within this green zone, very similar to what we saw here when we had the corrective move from 14,000 back down here into the $6,000, $5,000 range before we had liftoff. Similar back here, very much in the green until we really broke past previous all-time high. This is once we started breaking out. We're still well within this green zone, showing essentially the risk, the risk opportunity that you have. How much risk are you taking versus the potential upside? We are still very much in the green zone, suggesting that we still have a long way to go before we reach any sort of market cycle top. So if you guys can get behind that, throw a 1 in chat, hit the like button, make sure you are retweeting this on Twitter. If you're watching this on YouTube or Twitter, make sure you head over to @KellyKelm. I'm going to pull it up right here. Make sure you come over to my page See this crypto reversal caution, hit that retweet button, hit that like button. You get entered to win. We do giveaways, $100 USDT. We give away Arculus. We give away merchandise. We pick a random day and a random person from whatever random day is selected. So I want to make sure that you guys get in the know on that and make sure that you are entered to win some free stuff. Now, in addition to all this, we can also see this is that, basically downtrend that we've had. We have the higher low. Now we have the higher high. It stands to reason. What did I say? 61 to 62.5 sort of region. Look at this EMA ribbon right in this zone, basically 61.3 to 62.6. This is perfectly in line with this box that we have drawn right in here. So basically 62,000 down to 61,000 right here. And this is all these rejections, and then support, and then support, and then support, and then support, and then support. You see this? There's a very key level right in the zone that not only do we have the previous price action that illustrates these areas, but also what Caleb Franzen has pointed here with this, essentially the alligator, which is the basically 3 moving averages, these 3 EMA moving averages. This would be a great retest zone, because just because we broke this high doesn't mean you can't get a pullback. In fact, more often than not, you do break past a previous high, come back, retest in the zone, and then have that continuation. If we're able to hold this, this would be ultimately the most bullish thing possible. Why is just breaking up from here not the most bullish thing possible? Because if it just breaks out from here, you're not creating any price structure for healthy price action to show that the move isn't just going to retrace, getting one of those Bart Simpson patterns. So if we do have this higher low, followed by this higher high, getting this pullback into this mid region right in here where all this price action has found support and resistance, this would ultimately be the healthiest structure before we got liftoff. And then the next thing we're going to look at here is what is going to fuel this run. Well, there's 2 things we have to consider: super bullish and super bearish potential. On the one hand, look at the global liquidity. Look at the breakout of global liquidity all of these last 2 times, and also where we're at right now. Now, of course, we had a little bit more chop, but ultimately, this liquidity front ran the massive upside price action that we saw on the charts. Similarly, right here, we broke out global liquidity and then just up, basically up only, with corrections along the way here in the 2016 to 2017 bull cycle. We're getting that uptick in global liquidity right now, and we're right at that point in the liquidity cycle, the halving cycle, the election cycle. Everything is suggesting up. However, we do have something geopolitically, geoeconomically, especially here in the U.S., but this is going to affect world trade the world over, and that is this right here. And everybody's talking about this strike that may be happening tomorrow with the longshoremen, those people that are facilitating trade at the different port routes all across the eastern coast of the U.S. Just go ahead and take a listen to this really quick. I think this should play.
If you're a teamster, punch out, grab your stuff, go home. Let's get out of here. We are officially on strike. Punch out, let's go. We are officially on strike.
So all of these teamsters and these longshoremen that are loading and unloading boats at the ports where hundreds of thousands of goods and billions of dollars is something like, when they shut down, they project it's going to be about $5 billion a day in economic damage, essentially, if they do not. And it's all it comes to them trying to basically strong hand getting basically an uptick in pay. And they're basically at an impasse that no either side is not willing to budge on any longer. And so this could have some sort of issue driving some sort of economic factors that could be a little bit of a downward pressure on markets. So we've got to pay attention to this. Although we're seeing this uptick in global liquidity, that doesn't mean everything's going to be up only from here. We have other things that we need to consider and everything that's going on right now. So let's stay patient right now, because everything is suggesting that this could be going, that this should be going up soon, but it doesn't mean it's going to go up immediately. Now, coming back into what we want to talk about, yesterday, I went over a list of different coins in the stream that I did on yesterday's. I did a stream last night. But again, everybody, make sure you're subscribed here on BitLab. Make sure your notifications are on, because we're going to be doing streams at all kinds of different times, especially for those of you that are members. If you're not a member yet here on BitLab YouTube, in the Signals Lab or there on lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. Make sure you become a member because this is the week we're starting to do member streams near daily. In fact, we will be doing one this afternoon. So get in the know, become a member here on the channel, and make sure all your notifications are turned on so you can see when we are doing stuff. And that you will see right here on posts. When we go live, this is where you're going to see it. You get notified when posts happen as well. Now, coming to yesterday's stream, I talked about the potential reversal setup that is here, but also a bunch of the altcoins that I'm stacking. I just want to take a look at those again because we're looking at the others chart here. Downward trajectory, but the breakout is clear. Doesn't mean it's going to be up only from here. We may get a little bit better opportunity on some of these coins, but some of those coins, starting with Tau, looking incredible. Remember, Tau is a DPIN as well as an AI play, and this is looking incredible. Another one that we talked about was Near. Looking incredible, breaking out of this downward trajectory, having a little bit of consolidation here. But then one of my favorite coins this cycle is Constellation DAG. It's also one of the reasons why we partner with them. Had this long consolidation since March to the downside, getting a double bottom, breaking to the upside. In fact, not only are they building out everything, they've been utilized by the Department of Defense. They've been utilized by, look at this. Department of Defense, Department of Homeland Security, United States Space Force, Defense Innovation Unit, Department of Treasury, National Science Foundation, NASA, FBI, U.S. Transcom. You have no idea how much data U.S. Transcom processes every minute. It is so big. And to see what we saw with CrowdStrike failure that impacted the world, to see what we saw with 2.9 billion records stolen from the U.S. Department of from the U.S. government. Air Force as well. Constellation DAG has been utilized. They're only now rolling out really to the public. And this is, how low this is. It's like an $80 million market cap. This is incredible. And on top of all this, they've got basically they had their $100,000 hackathon, which essentially was driving developers to build different metagraphs and utility on top of Constellation DAG. But they also have a, they have a conference that's going to be happening in San Francisco on October 24th. So keep a lookout for that. But this is looking like it is trying to set that bottom to then have that next leg to the upside. I couldn't be more bullish on what's happening with DAG. Another one is Aether, it's ATH. Talked about this one yesterday. It kind of complements what's happening when you're investing in Render, except this has a exponentially smaller market cap. And they have an incredible team, and all those coins that I was looking into while I was at Singapore, Token 2049, all those different, there's so many different AI boosts, and there was a number of them that are using the compute, the distributed, decentralized compute power for Aether as their backbone. And so this is looking very good. If we do get a bit more of a pullback, that would be excellent. But in terms of a longer term position play, anywhere in the zone, I think is an excellent buy opportunity for Aether. And again, that's ATH. You can find. Now, with that being said, everybody, when we're looking at what's going on with Bitcoin and we see that we are basically hovering in this upper side of this range, we broke past previous range high. We have an opportunity that may present, it may not, and may present coming down to this $62,000 range. All systems are suggesting that we need to keep our mind about us, mind our P's and Q's, understand that the best is yet to come in this market between now and sometime in October to November of next year, being that market cycle top. This is the moment. This is the time we've all been waiting for to identify what we're going to do, how we can make sure that we are best positioned for this market cycle. Now, continuing on, looking at Ethereum, on the 3-day chart, breaking out of the zone, getting a bit of a kind of a triple bottom here with this wick down, also upper rising line of support that goes all the way back here to November 2022. Look at this, support, and we've broken out of this, but we have not yet. This is lagging a little bit behind Bitcoin. We want to see this break beyond this $2,800 mark, and as it stands right now, it's not yet done it, which means opportunity is still present. But let's look at the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. Ethereum to Bitcoin. It's been downtrending all the way since September 2022, coming down in this channel, just ping-ponging back and forth. Have a little bit of a deviation below. Look at this, right in the zone. This is looking like if we're able to break into this, I think we'll probably get a pretty quick move up into this 0.045 mark, which is this previous range low and this previous range high zone. If we start getting this move, then we are going to see altcoins as a whole doing some magical, and it's not magic if you're looking at the charts, but some very bullish price action that we're going to see here in the very, very near future. Why did they choose San Francisco? Well, you know, I don't know. That's just where they decided to do it. It is still one of the tech capitals of the world. But yeah, Crypto Crank, if we can get down to 54, that would be phenomenal. I'm not sure if we're going to get it. Where did I just see? Yeah, Crypto Crank said it. That would be a great flush of price activity and open interest if we do get that move all the way down into that $54,000 region. But if Ethereum is able to start, I mean, look at this. It's getting coiled right into these two zones, two fairly long trend lines. It's just pinching into this. If this can break to the upside, this is on the 3-day chart though. Let's look at the 4 hour. It's trying. Got a bit of that sort of almost an Adam and Eve, except this is much higher, but we have the W formation. If this can break this zone, the next spot we're looking at is 0.4237, which is all of this chop zone that we're seeing right in here. But man, guys, I am so bullish. I'm so bullish. Stacks also making some moves to the upside with a little bit of signs of an opportunity. You see, at this stage in the market cycle, when things show like this, looks like it may have a little bit of a move to the downside. Why? We got a triple top here with a head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder. If this does break down, let's go ahead and draw a line here. Boom. If this does break down, we can measure this out. Boom. And this suggests that we'd be coming down to test all of this zone right here. See this range high right here, this range high, this bounce right here. And look at this perfect measurement from this head and shoulders right there. This means that we may get an opportunity with stacks. Okay, let's get the measurement tool. We may get an opportunity with stacks with about a 10% move to the downside. Nothing is guaranteed right now by way of price action reversals, small time frame moves to the downside. So if this does break down, I wouldn't necessarily short this from here to here. I would look for a target front running this shortly, about maybe $1.73, something in here. Now, if it's a position, you don't necessarily need to stop. If you're trading this, then I would look for essentially taking a position if this did drop into here with a stop below this range here, basically, which is $1.67, maybe down here at about $1.64, something in that range. Dot also making moves to the upside, but getting a little bit sign of that reversal. This was showing you that sort of roundingness here, that this was likely going to move to the downside. FET also, look at this, rounding over. And what do we also have? The roundingness and the price action is a lower low, followed by, are we getting that lower high? Yes, we are. This is telling us it's likely coming down to this $1.48 region, potentially even further down here to this $1.37. Opportunities go lower right now because everything is lined up for ultimately that bullish portion of the market that every one of you has been waiting on. How many of you in here that's watching right now? We got 234 people in the room, 38 likes. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, make sure you got the notifications turned on, and make sure you are retweeting this page right here. We can see only 7 of you. There's 234 of you watching. Show some love. We're coming to you on a daily basis. I was sick as a dog last night. I still came to you. Come down here, hit that retweet button, hit that like button, show some love, get this out to your friends and family. I do appreciate it more than I can even explain to you all. Now, coming back over here, I'm still waiting on Crypto Danks. I don't know what's going on with him. But let's look at some other ones. Toncoin. I saw a metric that this had a huge amount of the layer 1 activity and volume on it in this last month. But this is looking like if we can't hold this line, that we may be coming back down here to this 525 region. How many of you are TON holders? TON, Telegram layer 1. But all in all, I mean, guys, oh man, look at that. If this does break down and lose this 523, 525 level, then we may be looking at a pretty big spill. 419 being the bullish case, and potentially all the way down here to 322, because it's not the super bullish move on the market that we all want until Bitcoin breaks beyond this 67.3. And then once it clears that, it's got to clear this, what is it, 72,359? I'm looking over here on the right where my mouse is. And then, of course, basically 73.8, which is a previous range high on the zone. So until this is able to successfully break out of this 7-month consolidation period, all these altcoins, as bullish as we are, as bullish as this is broken out, this may have a pretty big spill all the way back down here to test this, because this is not really test this descending level of resistance until this comes down, until this breaks above this 242 billion, or comes down, tests this, flips this previous resistance to support, and then starts to break to the upside. So we're bullish, but we got to be a little cautious right now. Let's go ahead and see where our boy Crypto Danks is at. Where you at, sucker? Where you at? Where you at, sucker? Boom. And make sure you're following Crypto Danks here at Crypto Danks X, at Crypto Danks X, right there, to make sure you can follow his stuff. He's always got great information. He's a hell of a good trader too. Another one that we talked about yesterday, Avalanche, and we talked last night also about that potential pullback. Yes, this had a bull flag breakout, but look at this. It could not really fulfill it because the market's not yet there. This started rounding about, came down, formed a little bit of a kind of a very crooked sort of, I won't even call it a head and shoulders, but similar structure here. And this is now struggling to maintain this zone that it's in. A little bit of a falling wedge though. So that's not a bad thing. If this does, I mean, look at this. It's just testing all of this range right here. Everything's waiting on Bitcoin. Everybody's like, Bitcoin's going up. And then it kind of fails to break through. So everything kind of, look at this, you know, that's not a small move. That's a 10% move to the downside. Whereas at the same time period, Bitcoin, let's go to the 2 hour. At the same time period, this only moved about 4%. So altcoins are still on the hook for where that risk is in Bitcoin, meaning is this going to break through or not? If Bitcoin loses this trend line and comes down another 3%, that could be another 10 to 20% move on those altcoins that you've been holding. So that can be scary to you and that could suck, or you can realize you either have positions you're holding and you can start allocating again. Maybe you bought at the top of some of those ranges, like on Avalanche. Maybe you bought at the top here, which learn from that mistake. If this does drop, remember, Bitcoin moved 4%, this moved 10. If Bitcoin moves another 3%, this may move down to this $25 mark, which is right in here, which would be another 7 or 8%. That's kind of how you can navigate these, understanding that when Bitcoin moves, altcoins tend to move more, whether it's to the upside or the downside, because they have such much smaller market caps. Now let's look at some of those ones that we did not look at yesterday. AAVE. This has been ripping to the upside. It broke out. Let's get out to the 6 hour. It broke out of this descent. Let's actually go to the 12 hour. Yeah. It broke out above this descending level of resistance. This comes all the way here. That gave us a symmetrical triangle. Came down, tested this, launched back up, and it's doing actually everything that it should. What is that? Rise, reach. Actually, let's go back. Rise, retrace, continuation, retrace, continuation, retrace, continuation, retrace, continuation. In this case, right now, it's only testing this previous range high. If it loses that, we may be coming down here into the $139 region. This may come all the way back down here to 121. And if that makes you mad, then you don't understand how markets work. If you felt like you missed out here, or you bought there because you believed in this, and this comes down all the way back down here, then you're able to take an advantage of lowering your average entry. Or maybe you bought down here and this comes down to this region, you can strengthen your position. So I'm going to go ahead and put this guest number 1. We got that all set up, but we got our boy in the house. I'm going to be pulling up in a second after he shares the screen so I can assign that. And then we'll get him on here. Another one we can look at is Arrow. Aerodrome looking monstrous with this massive move all the way here, all the way up to this top, 158% move. Holy malarkey. And now it's starting to look like it could be a bull flag. This could be a double top though. No pattern on charts is guaranteed. However, when we're looking at this, this is looking very bullish. If this does pull back, I would love an opportunity down here about $1.03, basically right about between $1 and $1.03. So we're going to look at some of the things and discuss with our main man here, Mr. Crypto Danks, what he thinks, what's going on. Danky boy, what's up? How you feeling?
What's going on, big man? You hear me all good? Everything's good?
I hear you good, baby.
Hey, good to see everybody. Welcome back to the BitLab Academy. It is your boy, Crypto Danks, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me, man. Really good to see you. I had my headphones issue. I always got some type of technological issue here, but hopefully there's no feedback. I'm just playing you on my speaker on my computer here.
Oh, you're perfect.
Cool, man. So, yeah, there's a lot of interesting things to talk about. I was just opening up the charts right now, busting out my laptop. We're seeing a retracement here in Bitcoin now back into sub 65K, sub 64K.
Hey, share your screen.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was. My bad. Let's do this here. Share screen. Cool. We should be there right about now. How's that look?
Perfection.
Awesome. So, yeah. So what do we got here? We have Bitcoin stumbling down. Now, a lot of people would say, well, we broke Danks. We broke the high. We've got a higher high. Well, I mean, yeah, but does that mean that we're on this never-ending trajectory to the upside? No, not necessarily. And also the charts, they just don't go up and up and up, right? You're naturally going to want to see a retracement. I mean, it's funny how physics works. You know, what goes up must come down, right? And I think that in the charts, it's the same thing. And it's healthy to see a retracement, but also it's not just about the chart movement, right? A lot of people, you know, as a technical analysis advisor and an educator, a lot of people think that, and I've seen TA experts as well. They say, well, you know, I can just read a chart and tell you everything that's going on. And a lot of people, they really think that way, but there's so many other factors, and really good traders and technical analysis, you know, chart readers, they will factor in so many other things, and then they'll still give you the best of both stories, right? The best of the bullish side, why we could go bearish. And that's really what we should be looking at. But this is actually something I wanted to talk about that's a little bit different, because we're traders, right? You're a trader, I'm a trader in futures, just, you know, derivatives. And a lot of this stuff here, you know, we pull up, we've got, look at all these indicators I've got here. I got the MACD, I've got the RSI, which is tanking. What are we at? They're on the 4-hour. We're falling. Now, before I get into the chart, I want to talk to the traders out there. All right, you traders that trade futures, okay? This is something, what I'm going to tell you, that nobody really talks about. And what I want to talk about, let me bust out. I could actually just probably put it on the screen here. What I want to talk about is this. You're trading percentages of your portfolio and your stop losses, because you don't want to be in a position now, because I heard you say earlier, a couple percent now could mean tens or hundreds of thousands of percent later. We don't want to be losing too much of our money now, or our percentages now, out of our bag, our trading bag, because that money essentially it's right. It's true what you say, right? Imagine you lose, say you have a $5,000 trading portfolio and you're trading $1,000 at a time on 20x leverage, right? Which a lot of people probably don't know that is abnormally incorrect on how you should, in my opinion, how you should be doing it. And I would say that most traders would agree with that, right, Kelly? So I think that, and this is what I teach in my Trade Academy, and it's a big point that I try to drive home to my members, especially now releasing the actual Trade Academy and stuff. They're just now going to be getting exposed to all of this newer information that I haven't brought forth yet. And actually, I'm giving you the sauce before I even give it to them, to be honest. So honestly, the way that I try to protect myself is by creating proper stop losses. So let me just put it in here. So when I say stop losses, proper stop losses on trades, right? Remember, this is all about protecting ourselves, and this is my motto. Okay, I'm going to tell you, I'll put it up top here. My motto is this. All right. It's not that. It's this. Here. Live to fight another day. All right. That's my motto. You'll hear me say it over and over again in the course. We want to live to fight another day, because if you run out of money, well, what are you going to, I mean, if I run out of money, that would be terrible, right? Because then I can't support my family, because this is what I do for a living. So if you're out there and you're wondering what it's like, oh, like, believe me, for many, many, many years, I was like, I want to be a trader for a living. I tried to trade foreign exchange currencies and stocks, and I learned through all of those tech like strategies. I learned my strategies through that stuff, through those markets. But I lost a lot of money, right? I lost all the time. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have proper guidelines set in place. Excuse me. Kelly, remember this cup? This was on the yacht party in Singapore. So anyways,
What a
my
good
wife
time.
saw the video. She's like, "That's my cup. What the heck are you doing with my cup in Singapore on a boat?" I bought it for her in Nashville. This is actually the city of Nashville, and I bought it for her, and then I use it now all the time. Anyways, that falls back on my, like, everything doesn't have to be like, let's be personal. You guys get to know me a little bit, right? So anyways, live to fight another day. Okay. So if I have like, for me, right, I have about a 20,000, I'll be upfront. I have a $20,000 trading portfolio. Okay. So let's say this trading portfolio. So like, for me, what I try to teach is that I want traders to be trading no more than 5% of their bag at any given trade. And that would be, personally, that would be on the most bullish case scenario. So most bullish case, max 5% trading port. Okay. That's how I look at this. On the regular side, I would say, personally, for me, I will be honest, I'm one of those persons that's like, do what I say, not as I do. Sometimes I will do like more, but I have a lot of experience, right? And I shouldn't say that, but it's the truth. You'll see that, but and you'll get to that point, right? You'll get to where, okay, I can put 7%, I can put 10%, because I'm pretty confident in this, and I've seen this over and over and over again, right? So that being said, I try to stick between a 1% and 5%. Now, most risky or most uncertain case, right, is 1%. Uncertain equals 1%. 1%. But I would usually say 2 to 3% of my trading portfolio. So when you're in that mindset, okay, now we're saying, okay, well, Danks, I only have $1,000. You're telling me I need to trade with $10? Yeah. I'm telling you need to trade with $10, because if you only have $1,000 and you run out of that $1,000, what does that mean? That means that now you can't live to fight another day because you ran out of the money, right? So that $1,000, you have to think about it as your lifeline to opportunity. Okay. If you're losing that lifeline 10% at a time, well, it only takes 10 times. All right, man, I'll tell you what, if I only had 10 times to lose my $20,000, I would be devastated. Right. So why do I say that? Okay. So then how do we protect ourselves? Well, we use proper stop losses. Okay. What's a proper stop loss? Again, it's the same as how much I'm trading. I set a stop loss. Typically, I set my stop losses at minus 5%. Okay. So when you go into a trading platform, I wonder if I have CoinW on here. Let me see. If you go into a trading account, let me see if I have a login. If not, I'm not logged in. It's okay. Oh, look at you. I was watching you here. So anyways, what I do is I'll just go minus 1 to 5%.
I can take your screen off so you can log in if you want, so they can't see it.
If you don't mind, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, it's just your face now. Oh, while you're doing that, I will say, everybody, thank you. I saw a lot of people just rolled in. We got about 400 people in the 377 people in the room. Make sure you head over to my Twitter page, which is @KellyKellum, and come down here, enter yourself into Wen, and that is this right here. Just retweet this, hit that retweet, hit that like button, and we randomly draw a day and then randomly draw a person. We give away cash, we give away memberships, we give away merchandise, just for a thank you for helping spread the good word. And then, of course, obviously, also make sure you're following Crypto Danks here. Where is he at? Right here at Crypto Danks X. And then, of course, make sure that you come here directly below the stream. Join us in our free traders group. It's going to be, there's education, there's all the setups, the trade competitions, volume bonuses, so much. And all you got to do to participate in that, it's free. All you got to do is go through, there's a three-step registration process there. It's just creating an account on CoinW. You can use it in the US, you can use it anywhere. I think the only place you kind of have some trouble is UK, but all you have to do, it's going to give you a warning. Just hit confirm and just continue on. Make sure you go and sign up with that link and then verify. You'll get in our trade group with, there's 8 or 9 different pro traders in there sharing nonstop trade setups. And again, there's bonuses. We've been giving away $250 to different levels of trading, $50 bonuses. We have competitions. All that is all you have to do is sign up with this. It's directly below the YouTube video right here, free traders group. And if you're here on this page right here, if you go here to the comments area, let me just expand this. If you go here to the comments area, you see I also shared that link right here. Make sure it's only from the @KellyKellum with that exact spelling. Now I'm going to throw it back over to Mr. Danky Danks.
Yeah, throw it on. We're good. So I'm just going to open up my notepad here and just put it here, right? So live to fight another day. Say you have, I'm gonna bump this down to $1,000. I would say that seems pretty typical. Most bullish case, right? Max 5%. What does that mean? $50. Okay. Now that doesn't mean you're only trading with $50 because again, we're trading futures derivatives, which means we can add leverage. All right. Now I'm going to tell you right now, most exchanges, they make their money on leverage. Okay. So you're going to see naturally, you're like probably never seen futures before. And it's like, oh, okay, 20x leverage. Like that seems standard. But then down here, it says leverage is high, right? So the standard leverage is not 20%. That is very on the high end, I would say. Most traders that trade for a living, especially on higher amounts of margin, and all margin is a fancy term for how much money I have to spend. So in my account, my available margin is $663. Now, that falls back on multiple reasons. One, because if we're trading on platforms that are like CoinW or any other exchange that, obviously we have to, push past a certain barrier to get into the account. I don't want to put too much money on here to where there's anything at risk. However, because we're plugged in with CoinW, I don't think anybody should have an issue. And if you do, reach out to Kelly or I, and we'll make sure that you're taken care of. That being said, I keep only the amount that I feel like trading at any given time period. And I really try to build that up. Just because I have $20,000 doesn't mean I have 20,000 sitting in this account. I actually have that sitting on my Tangem, actually. So I use Tangem as a cold storage. I know you use Oculus, something like that. It's very similar, right? It's here it is, actually. I'll show you. It's a card like this, and it has an NFC chip in it, and it's completely unhackable. There's actually not even a seed phrase. It's only biometrics, and that's in a password. That's the only way to get in. So I use this, right? I keep all of my dry powder here. I have some stuff on like my Phantom wallet and this and that. But in general, I try to keep my assets protected. That way I'm not in here like tempted, because trust me, I'm tempted to put $5,000 on a trade. Trust me, like I've done it too. I've had the reason why I only have 20,000 trades is because I've made these mistakes in the past and I didn't listen to my own rules, right? I try to be very transparent with the people that I work with and with my friends like Kelly as well, because, what do I like? Why would I be on here like boasting and talking about all these things if I don't tell you the pitfalls? Because I've experienced them, right? The reason why I came up with this 5% max, 1% average entry and stop loss is because I lost $100,000 doing the other shit, right? Doing the other stuff, right? So as a result, I have to protect myself in order to make sure that I have the opportunity to continue to provide for myself and my family and pay my bills and stuff like that. So anyways, I would typically say anything around 3 to 5%, 2 to 5%. Now you can go up to 10% on something like Bitcoin, all right, or even anything in particular. You can do 10x leverage. But how it works is that when you're trading on futures, right? Like for example, let's just put here, let's put 2x leverage. Okay, I'm going to show you something. You put 2x leverage, and what's, say it's $1,000, 10% of $1,000 is $50. So in here, your leverage is 2x, okay, and then you have your 2x leverage, and then you have your $50. Well, here you have to actually put the amount you want to trade, which would be $100, right? Cost is 50, leverage is 2x, the size is 100. All right, let's just go short, for example, since we're kind of falling, right? We're marketing short. That's another story. We don't usually do that. We'll put a limit order, etc. Now, if you look here, if you can see on my screen, it says the liquidation price is 95K. In order to lose my my 100, what happened? I thought I put a 100 margin, 50 margin. Oh, I guess I did. I must have done something different. Anyways, it's a little bit more than 50 for some reason. I don't know what happened. That's weird. Let me see. Anyways, well, it's 30 now, and actually it's 63. It's a 2x. Either way, it's a 2x. So $95,000 is the price of Bitcoin to lose my money, right? Now, let's just close this position. Okay. I wouldn't recommend just closing all. Usually we'll do limit, but it's small, so it doesn't matter. So now let's go to 10x leverage. Remember, 95,000 and change, right? Well, let's go to 10x leverage, and let's put the same. I don't know. I put 100 here. I don't know why. Oh, now we're at 10x. So now we do our money that we want to trade times 10. So if I want to do 50 times 10, it would be 500. It says cost here is 50. Okay. So we'll go short. Let's see if it gives me a weird price again. Okay, well, knocked. Okay, so that with the fees. Okay, that makes sense. So now we're 10x the leverage, and we're 10 times our trade size. However, look at where our liquidation price lies now, 69,751. That's a dramatic change. So the reason why I say, imagine 20x, it'll probably be like very close, 64, 65K. So you want to be careful. All right. So now imagine if I set a 5% stop loss. Okay, let me go into stop loss, and I usually go by ROI, which is percent. We'll just stop loss first. All right, then we'll say, what is 5%? Literally 5% is only $2.22. All right, that's the loss. I would rather take 100 $2.22 losses over one big $500 loss because I just kept letting my trade run or whatever it is, and just get liquidated, so, or $50 or whatever the case may be. So that is something I wanted to cover and talk about, because a lot of people, they get in, I have a new member, he came in, he was trading 75x leverage, $10,000, which is basically half of his account. And now, he's struggling. All right. Unfortunately. So I wanted to talk about that because it's fresh in my mind. And I think it's important to bring that to the table. All right. There's a couple other things I want to talk about. I know we don't have much time left, but we'll do minus 1% and up to 5%, minus 5%. Now, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes
I want to say too, I want to just highlight something there. Crypto Crank just talked about it as well. Because you're setting something 1% from price or 5% from price, you have to be very aware of what your leverage ratio is. If you're 10x, then if you go 1% from price, that's a 10% loss.
Right.
Man, I'm still sick. I can't shake it. So you have to take into account what the percentage loss is, not just the percent from price, because you're getting the same multiple. If price moves up, if price moves down 10%, then that's 100% loss, right?
Right.
If you're on a 10x trade.
Yeah.
So you've got to pay attention to this.
Yeah, a little bit of mathematics. I mean, you're talking like middle school mathematics here, right? We're saying if we're at minus 2%, 2x leverage, if you go down 1% on the chart, that's minus 2% on your trade, right? So you got to consider that the higher that's why I put here on the chart, it says sometimes I push up to minus 10% because if I do a higher leverage, like maybe 10x leverage, then I want to give myself a little bit more wiggle room and not be so like, because that minus 5% was 65, no, it was 60, I think it was 65.9, if I remember correctly. And if I go minus 10%, it'll give me a little bit more wiggle room, you know? So, you know, it just depends on the trade and your certainty on the trade and stuff like that. There was also something else I wanted to talk about. Give me 1 second here. So, oh yeah. There's certain coins in the market that move against or just move on their own, right? And a lot of people fall into these pit traps of like, oh, like Tau is moving, Tau's ripping. Like last night, I just literally watched this thing go to, you know, to the moon. From where was it? I think it was like 230, something like that down here. It just kind of, you know, and a lot of people were saying, oh, Tau's moving, Sui's starting to move. I actually placed a short yesterday on Sui for a short scalp, but I hardly was able to profit off of that. Actually, I ended up negative. So there are different cryptos. A lot of the market follows Bitcoin. However, some do their own thing completely, and then some will do their own thing for a little bit, and then they'll start following Bitcoin, and then you know. So sometimes you can use, if you know a chart well enough, then you can kind of use it as an indication of like, hey, let's see like if Bitcoin's been doing the opposite of what Tau's been doing lately, then and if Tau is a first mover before Bitcoin, then perhaps we have something. Just maybe look out for a fall on Bitcoin. Say Tau starts to rip, right? It starts to move up. Interesting. Okay, well, if it's been doing that and during these times, I'm not saying this is the case because I haven't actually focused, but it's just something that was in my mind when I was driving, taking my daughter to school. Is like, you know, if there is an adversarial, then pay attention to these things. There's little cues that you can use in the market to give yourself an idea of like what could be happening to something else in the market, right? A lot of charts follow Bitcoin though, and I'm always looking for an edge somewhere. I'm a gambler, right? I'm a poker player. I learned game theory, optimal for Texas Hold'em and Omaha, which is 4-card poker. So for me, I'm always looking for an edge, black, whatever it is. Now it's translated into the charting, into trading, into fundamental analysis. This is the thing. In order to be successfully able to achieve a lifetime of trading in any asset class, you have to somehow find an edge, right? So that's something that not just charting and not just analysis of like the market is able to give you. There's like really good traders, and I'm not necessarily saying that I am one. I believe I'm okay, you know, I do well, but there are some traders out there that have that edge, right? And though they won't share it a lot of times. So if you can look for an edge, like anything to just give you that extra 0.01%, anything, I would be looking for it. Now, another thing I was wanting to talk about is I know you mentioned earlier the Solana and FTX and all of that stuff. In the past, the worst that I've seen personally, I haven't been around as long as you in crypto. I've been in more in forex and stocks, but the worst that I've seen is Mt. Gox. Right when we had and most recently the Mt. Gox, all the release of Bitcoin and all of this stuff, the market did do a huge retracement, and I think that was the one on August 5th, if I'm correct. But one thing I wanted to talk about is that Solana, my boy, my mentor, he you know, we've been trying to analyze this Solana thing, and we're looking at the news and ChatGPT and this and that, and what is going to happen. And I literally read through the court document filings for FTX to try to find out if they're selling off X amount of Solana. They didn't say anything. So in the end of the day, like, what do we see in Solana first? Let's take a look. It's right over here. Solana, it's down a little bit. All right. Is this as a result of the news? I don't know. Maybe not. Probably just a market correction like Bitcoin, right? But we don't want to be, again, too on one type of information, right? We need to be using a confluence of, just like we use indicators to try to make our decisions, but you want to use a confluence of information to help make longer term or even short term decisions. Now, coming back, you were talking about the bull run and is it here and are we going to go up and this and that, right? This is the thing. We're at 57.31% in Bitcoin dominance. All right. And this is the 2-hour chart. Let's go to the daily. So we had been not too long ago, actually, wow, I didn't realize we were this high. This was when we were in Singapore, it looks like almost 58%, right? If we run back, okay, now before I show you this is before the additional 2 million tokens or whatever has been put on the market since the last bull run. So the last bull run, first, even before this, I say this is that in order to get a full altcoin season, even though we will be potentially moving in an upward trajectory on altcoins, Bitcoin is dominant. All right. You're going to see this Bitcoin dominance. It's going to be going up and 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 up. Now, as you see here, when we topped out 2020, 2021, where were we at? We were 70+% dominance. We're at 73 at the top, 73.7, averaging. Let's see if there's like a neckline somewhere around here. Probably, like, I don't know, maybe right here. 70%, I would say, is like the top, right? So where do we start getting into the bull run on Bitcoin dominance? Let's see. So it looks like, and I wonder if I can add the Bitcoin chart here, which I'm sure I can. Let's just add BTC USD. Sure. Boom. Okay. So you can see that the Bitcoin dominance actually starts going up. This is the Bitcoin chart in pink, right? I think that's pink. Yeah, pink. So it goes up before the actual price in Bitcoin. It's interesting how that works, right? So what you're going to see is that, I mean, if I have this correct, I think I do, right? It should be sticking correctly to the chart. So if I'm pretty sure I've done the analysis on this, but it does look like you can see the volume as well picking up here. So we're going to see a push up on Bitcoin dominance. All right. Whatever the case is, if this isn't perfect, I'm sorry. I think it might be off a little bit, but you're going to see Bitcoin dominance rise, and then you're going to see Bitcoin dominance fall. And once Bitcoin dominance falls and Bitcoin price starts to fall, that's when we're going to have our superheated altcoin season. Like Kelly, I'm a bull on this entire market right now. I think that we're heading into a bull run. I don't think that we've seen a market top. And, the thing is, though, the reason why I wanted to tell you what I just showed you about the percentages and the stop loss and this and that is because we're dealing with a lot of uncontrollable information out of my control. So let's try to focus sometimes on things that are in our control. All right. And that is preserving your capital and living to fight another day.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. One of the things that you just highlighted there also is, and I don't think a lot of people get it, altcoins can be going up massively, and that does not constitute an altcoin season. What constitutes the altcoin season is when predominantly altcoins are outpacing as a whole. The index of altcoins is rising faster on a percentage basis than Bitcoin. So we're going to see massive gains in altcoins before altcoin season actually hits. It's when Bitcoin starts breaking past 100, 120, 130, altcoins are going to be ripping like a mother. And some are going to be outpacing Bitcoin, but there's going to be an influx all of a sudden when Bitcoin starts rising dramatically. Then some of those bigger players start taking some profits out of Bitcoin and rolling them into altcoins. And you still see then the retail hype come in and still continue to push up. Basically, their exit liquidity for longer term holders on Bitcoin, buying the hype of Bitcoin as it continues going up. And those are all weak hands. But then it's when that happens that you also see altcoins, doing 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 60x gains across the board. And I'm here for it. I've been stacking into it, and I'm super prepared for it.
sorry to interrupt. What a lot of people might not know, and a lot of us do know, but some might not know. I mean, how many people are watching right now? I don't have the channel open. If there's 500 people
404.
here watching, okay, 404. So let's just say hypothetically, maybe 5% of you don't know what I'm about to tell you. That's still, 20 whatever people that need to know this. Most of the altcoin season is driven from Bitcoin people that are in Bitcoin, futures trading and spot trading, which spot is just buying Bitcoin and holding it and selling it at a profit. Now they've got this money to play with, right? They want to get into something a little bit more risky. Let me get that 20x. Let me get that 50x. Where's that 100x, Kelly? Where's my 100x, bro? So they come in there and they start feeling the markets and they want to get in there and start degenning a little bit, right? For them, it's degenning. For us, it's like every day to day, right? So you're going to see that. And another thing though is don't, and I know we stop here soon, but don't let the market fool you, okay? Because what is happening that I've been noticing right now is, like, I'm in the meme coin space, right? I make my money on meme coins as well. So I've been seeing this, like, even these random coins that are not anything of importance hitting these unrealistic market caps, and this can be a false advertisement of a run, right? Or a meme season. So just be careful when you're seeing other people like saying, "Oh man, meme coin season is back. Like altcoins, we're here. We're gonna be," like everything is got its own little bubble, and it's just a very hard thing to say like this is happening because that has happened, right? So try to be very objective, and I would be very I don't want to say the word suspicious, but I would always question the information that I hear from somebody, right? Even if it's Kelly, right? Actually, not Kelly, because he's an actual OG. But other people that tell me certain things, I go back and I do some research before I tell anybody on it if it's something that I think is worth sharing. So don't take word for gospel, and that goes for anybody. I think that you should, obviously try to do your research. I think the people that watch this show, and also if you come and watch my show, it's just Crypto Danks on YouTube or on Twitter, or x.com, that we really try to educate you because, and we talked about this. We hung out a lot in Singapore. I mean, we hung out the whole time, right? And one thing that I would say we both have in common is that we're really just wanting to share whatever we've learned. Not that I'm any expert. Kelly is definitely an expert, but I am still growing, learning. I'm very, well versed, I would say, from my experience. But there's just not enough actual material. Like, dude, what live stream have you seen that they talk anything about this right here? Have you ever even seen that? I don't think I've ever seen it, right? Unless maybe in a paid trading course. So these are the types of things that we're trying to do because it's just not available to the masses, and we just care about you guys, man. I really do. Like, just being in the chats with you guys and girls and Alexandra and KJam and Sawtooth and everybody in the chat. You guys have been coming to my stream and then hitting me up on Twitter, and we've been hanging out and talking, and I love you guys already. You guys are like my family too. So I appreciate that, and I want the best for everybody. You know what I mean? I want the best for myself too. So this is also a reminder how to do things the way that I'm supposed to as well. When I share this information, when I teach this information, it's a reality check for me also. So it's not just like, oh, I got to like talk about this again and all this. No, it's exciting for me. And you can see the passion, I'm sure, because this is important, right? Anything like such a small thing can literally send you back to work, a 9 to 5, right? Not understanding stop loss percentages and take profits and all of that. Take profits is for another time, right? But not understanding how much you should be trading. When I like today, I felt so bad for my member, because he's like, man, I had $12,000. Now I have two. But it's because he still was addicted to that 75x margin, and he was still doing 40x, 50x. You know, it hasn't even been 2 weeks and he's got less than $2,000, right? So I'm sorry, I don't think anybody knows who it is. I'm not going to obviously say who it is, but you know, it hurts me to see that because I try to help, but at the end of the day, you are the one that has to make the final decision when you place that trade. If you're going to do 50x, then why even be here? You know what I mean? If you're going to do it, then do it with a small amount and have fun with it. We were trading 40x longs on Bitcoin in Singapore, me and Kelly and I, you know, and having
Yeah,
fun with
like
it.
$40,
But
$60, $100,
yeah,
small
no, but
amounts.
and again, that's for our portfolio size, right? But you can do that if you want with $4, $3. There's no limit. Like maybe $2 is the limit. Put a $5 if you want to really feed that gamble feel, then put $5 on 200x leverage and see what happens. Go do it. You know. So other than that, don't put that money at risk because a lot of people they think, oh, well, I put $500 into this meme coin and I made $10,000 the other day. But this is not meme coin trading, guys and girls. This is very different. All right. This is very different. So this get rich quick thing, this 1000x thing, this you know, making these huge gains, I really want to see people change their mindset. And it's starting to happen in my group. I think that a 2x is bullish and people laugh at me. Last night I was on Kelly's stream and he was like talking about quant and I was like, what are you talking about, bro? Quant is easy 2x, you know, and someone put LOL. It's like, you know, but that's how I think now because I'm trying to get any little juice out of this damn lemon that I can. And at the end of the day, like if we come out a positive at all, we're in the top 5%. And I want you guys to be there. Sorry for the ramble.
No, I mean, I completely agree with that. You know, this is the moment that all of us, it's the best opportunity of our lives. And that's why we do these streams to help get people in the know, meaningful tools, content, resources, and community. So everybody make sure you head over to Crypto Danks' page, which is, I'm trying to pull it up, which is right here.
I can pull
It's
it
at
up.
Crypto Danks X. And also he's got a great Patreon, but also a YouTube channel. He's grown quite quickly now that we kind of, I don't want to say partnered up, but in some way we're homies. So we want to share different viewpoints. It's not just my viewpoint. We got to hear different viewpoints, different ideas, different thoughts, and making sure that we can take advantage of this while the action's hot. Because make no worry, if the price crashes from here, and we still get a higher low, that's good. I'm not worried until we break below about $51,000. So anything that's happening right now, let's not lose access for what our future profits can be because we're getting too greedy in every single trade right now. But I think that's all we got for today. Is there anything else you wanted to say to close out?
Yeah, I was going to just real quick, I'll keep it quick, is that you said I wouldn't be worried unless we were under certain, even then I wouldn't be worried because I think it'll still be a buying opportunity. If we're really on that train to say, hey, like this is the final big dip, which we probably said 5 times this year already, before we actually move up. But think about if we bought every single time we dipped under 58K, how many, if you would have just bought and then sold and then bought and then sold, you'd be up thousands right now, right? So like I look at them as buying opportunities. Okay, now I can understand the worrisome because maybe there's always that thing in the back of the head that says, hey, maybe we did hit a market top. Like maybe we are going down, and that can be worrisome. But you know, we're in a high risk asset class. So if you're gonna, if you're gonna be saying that you're bullish and you want to be bullish, then don't be scared to buy the dips. Buy the fear and sell the excitement. Thanks for having me, bro.
Of course, everybody make sure you give Crypto Danks follow at Crypto Danks. Check him out on YouTube. We love you guys. We're going to be doing a member stream this afternoon, so make sure you're paying attention to that. Make sure your notifications are turned on. And again, thank you, Danks, for coming on, sharing some thoughts and some wisdom. Sometimes we go super advanced. Sometimes we break it down basic. We got to make sure everybody knows how they can walk so they don't get tripped up when they try and run. Love you guys. That's all we got for today. We're going to head over to Blockchain Basement now. That's all we got. Adios, muchachos.
Cheers.